Guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. This is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. Tonight, I've got a story. Let me know, by the way, about the lighting. I've got a huge light blaring in my face, so I can't really make out myself very well on the camera. Let me know if the lighting's okay. I know the audio's a little live, but I'm recording on the bus tonight, and it's coming along nicely. I should have a video done. I'm finishing up the shower right now. So, right now, we talk a lot about relationships and how many of us, most of us, are out of relationships. But there are some of you guys that are still married, some of you that are still casually dating, and some of you that actually want a long-term relationship. Well, I'm going to tell you now, if you want a long-term relationship, just you and one other woman, not multiples like seems to be becoming the norm nowadays, you may actually have struggle with that. So let's get recording. We'll jump right into this. But this has some scientific ramifications as well, because we actually may be heading for a population decline for the first time, and it may actually become a problem. We'll start with Psychology Today. Half of singles don't want a relationship or even a date. And I think part of this becomes, you go back to the 1800s, 1800 and whatever, and once it hit dark, you might have had some lanterns with a little bit of oil, and you might have had some candles, but that was it. Like, you could maybe read by a gaslight, and you went to bed at sundown, and you got up at sunup. So the only thing you had to do is spend time with your significant other or sleep. There wasn't a whole lot to do. And, with more technology, obviously, and electricity and things like that, things change. But now, let's think about it. What's my day? I work here on the bus. But if I wasn't, I'd be probably touring around the country, seeing sights. But even when I was 9 to 5, I woke up, I went to the gym, I commuted in, I worked, I commuted home. I might go out for a run with the dog. I'd feed him. I cook myself dinner. You flop down in front of a computer or a TV, maybe a text online with some friends and check out some stuff on the internet, you're done. Then on the weekends, if you're like me, you're a motorcycle rider, or you hang out with other friends, and you don't need anybody anymore. And so come to find out, no one needs anybody anymore, and they don't want anybody anymore. Why? Because everybody's selfish, and no one wants to change the way that they do things. So this comes out from the Psychology Today, a just released report from the Pew Research Center sends a dagger straight through the heart of a popular mythology, the one that insists that what single people want more than anything else is to become coupled. It's so untrue. The findings, based on a national random sampling of nearly 5,000 adults in the U.S., showed that 50% of single people are not interested in a committed romantic relationship, and they are not even interested in a date. Another 10% want nothing more than casual dates, so that's 60% that don't want long-term. About a quarter of single people, or 26%, would be interested in casual dates or a committed romantic relationship. Just 14% are looking only for a serious romantic relationship. So if you just want long-term, 14% of people. If you're like short-term or long-term would work for me, 40% of people. That's still, that's less than half by quite a bit. It would be tempting to assume that this is a testament to the growing number of single people. Just about every time the Census Bureau releases its latest figures, we learn that there are even more single people than there were the year before. A previous Pew report made the remarkable prediction that by the time today's young adults reach the age of about 50, about 1 in 4 of them will have been single their entire lives. That's a cohort of 50-year-olds in which 25% have never been married. And let's say you are, 30, 40, 50, and you want to get in a serious relationship. That means the vast majority of people that you might get in a serious relationship with have never been in a serious relationship before, which means they don't know how to make sacrifices, they don't know how to meet on middle ground, that they don't know how to work and think as a couple versus thinking as an individual. That's a huge problem. And until this... Yeah, I just think this is just more science that basically just says marriages are done. They ain't even long-term dating's done. We're just a hookup culture now, where people do their thing, They like to be with their friends. They like to just live life alone, or like I said, with friends. Then they go out and they get their casual hookup on. If they really like each other, they hook up for an extended period of time. You might call it short-term dating. I don't know. But even short-term dating kind of implies that you only have one partner, but it seems that people are interested in having multiple partners. So as far as even health and safety and having kids and the rest of it, just sounds like it's toast. I'm going to leave all three of these down below, by the way, if you want to check them out. So when I jump to the other articles, if you want to read further than I have, I'll leave them below. And they kind of get in here about having multiple partners and all that stuff. I'm not going to go down that path, but from the Federalist, latest marriage data suggests dark future for America if things don't change fast. The future of our nation is at risk if we don't take action to reverse the damage that has been done to marriage, family, parenting in the 21st century America. Now, without getting too far into politics, one of the things that the left is pushing is the breakup of the nuclear family. They've expressed this on many of their sites. And interestingly enough, there was a study that I read, and I don't have it for tonight's video, but it said that women that were single, even if they do have kids, if they're not in a traditional family, they produce more taxes. They're actually a better income for the state because a young woman will get out of college. She delays having it, go back to a traditional family. Young woman might take college or high school. They marry their high school or college sweetheart. They have kids. They stay home. They're a stay-at-home mom. You have one man earning. Now she goes to college. She's in debt for $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. She's got to dig her way out. So she goes to work. But they get to tax her income. Same thing with a guy. They're now pretty much indentured servitude to college for a good portion of them. Now, those that don't go to college, well, women are still deciding, well, I've been told, women say it's a good thing to go out and work and be independent. So they're earners. They're making more for the government. So the government is all about, people being free and single because it means more income for them. It all ties back to healthy families. The report states, as source of social capital, few relationships are as important as the family ties between parents and children. Yet, according to the congressional report, more than 45% of American children, by the time they reach late adolescence, spend some time without either a mother or a father in the home. Marriage, which provides economic and social stability to both men and women, our loving, nurturing home for children, is in serious decline. According to the report, the percentage of women between the ages of 15 and 44 who are married has declined from 71% in 1962 to just 42% today. Meanwhile, the percentage of never married women between the ages of 30 and 34 has gone from just over 5% in 1962 to 35% in 2019. And they have a few more, they talk about the decline of marriage as an ominous note. We must review the family structure, which I think is very important. But that's the wrap up. But they basically say if we're going to keep our society from crumbling, we need to repair marriage and the family first. A critical element in doing so is the restoration of religious faith and the values that come with it. Strong marriages, monogamy, and seeing each person, imago Dei, in the image of God. Now, I am not a religious person, so I'm not going to put too much in that. But I will, being in that, I don't want to talk about religion, that being the fix to all this. Because even non-religion is going to have to find a way to fix this. I'll just push it or place it that we need to bring back appreciating men and appreciating women and the values that they bring to a relationship. Teaching women they don't need to be 61% of women align with feminism. They don't have to think that they are strong and independent and that they can do everything themselves. They need to understand that men and women, while different, are both healthy for each other in a traditional relationship, and to bring back monogamy and bring back staying married until the kids are raised. Even if you didn't say marriage, because that's just a license between you and the government at that point, at least making it to where people want to stay together. Women don't want to take kids away from the guys. Women don't want to use men for income, just for child support, because that way the women says, well, I'm pregnant, I'm going to keep it. You can't do anything about it. Also pay me. Because then the child's being raised by a one-parent family. but they have the income of two people from the guy that's not involved. And so the woman wins because she gets the kids and she gets the income and she gets to stay single. The people that really lose are the men and the kids because there's so many studies showing that children need fathers in their lives, and mothers as well, but mothers most of the time end up with them. And from the BBC News here just a month ago, fertility rate, jaw-dropping, global crash in children being born. See, women are putting it off. And this is going worldwide, except for various countries in Africa, because what it is it's women again. You should get your own education and be independent. Okay, I've got an education. Now I'm in debt to college. Okay, now I go out and get my job. I got to pay back. Before I have kids, or if I have kids, I want to pay back my debt. I want to have my fun, go out there and be adventurous. And then it becomes 30 or 35, and women start saying, okay, now I want to settle down. And men are saying, I don't, though, because there are all these women out there that just want to have fun. I can still go have fun with them instead of settling down with you. So while the women are having their fun, they're allowing men to have their fun too. It used to be a guy has to promise himself to a woman to get some action. And so he would marry and get the family and be a providing man in order to have access to intimacy. Since that's gone now, they don't have to anymore. So guys are saying, why would I settle down? And when a woman hits 30 to 35, the later years of her child producing years, and guys are saying, look, I'm 46, I'm 42, I'm 38, whatever. I'm not ready to settle down yet because I still have these 20-somethings I'm going out on dates with. The kids aren't happening. And there's a lot of women that end up not having them. They say the world is ill-prepared. I already read that. Falling fertility rates mean that nearly every country could have shrinking populations by the end of the century. And 23 nations, including Spain and Japan, are expected to see their populations halve by 2100. Countries will also age dramatically, as with many people turning 80 as there are being born. Let me rephrase that. Countries will also age dramatically with as many people turning 80 as are being born, which means there aren't going to be young people to pay into the system of Social Security, of the health system, to pay these taxes, to pay for the aging people. So what happens? Society is going to start falling apart. Older people are not going to have the free health care that they currently have because not enough young people are paying into the system. And they talk here about the fertility rates, women having fewer children, which countries are most affected, and are there any solutions? And here's basically what they say. Countries including the UK have used migration to boost their population and compensate for the falling fertility rates. However, this stops being an answer once nearly every country's population is shrinking. We will go from the period where it's a choice to open borders or not, to frank competition for migrants, as there won't be enough, argues Professor Murray. Some countries have tried policies such as enhanced maternity and paternity leave, free childcare, financial incentives, and extra employment rights, but there's no clear answer. Here's the other problem with bringing in migrants from other countries is a lot of times they don't want to become part of the country. They want to keep the kind of the national pride and the thought patterns and thought process of what they had in their previous country. So they're not adapting to these new cultures very well, and that's becoming a social strife. If you look at what's happened in France, if you look at what's happened in Malmö, Sweden, if you look at what happened, there's a couple places in Germany, they're having a lot of problems with immigrants because they don't know how to get them to come in and then also become part of the culture because the religion is different. The law and the process of thinking, the way that they treat women, everything's different. And so you're mixing oil and water, and they're really having a struggle with this. And again, I think this all boils back down to we need to start looking backwards as far as maybe let's not drive women so hard and make it unpopular for them to become moms and housewives. Or again, if they don't want to, maybe the guy can take over that role. But again, we've seen what happened when women are in charge. They have kind of men that are willing to take the back seat. And if men are willing to take the back seat, women don't find them attractive anymore. And thus they get divorced. And we go right back to the court problems again. So there's a heck of a lot of mess out there. And no one's really quite sure how we're going to fix any of it. No one has any answers. And until they figure it out, dating is done. Marriage is dropping off a cliff, and so is having kids. So I think, if you're well adjusted and you're happy being alone, you younger guys, especially coming out of the gate, if you have the right mindset and this is you going forward, I think you're in the right place, because there's not a lot of guarantees that long relationships are even going to really last that much longer. I mean, here in 15 years, they've dropped off even more. What's going to happen in another 5, 10, 15 years when you 20 or 30-year-olds are now my age, say 45-ish? What's going to happen is you better be in a good place where you're okay being alone. Because if you're not, and these rates keep falling off, no one wants to date, no one wants to have kids, no one wants to get married. And I'm okay with not getting married portion of it. And even until the laws change, I'm okay with not having kids, because, the court systems get you trapped. But until things start to change, unless they change, some of you young men today at 18, when you're 80, you'll be seeing the results of this. So, it's going to be challenging to see if society takes a step back and looks around, or if they just, if they just take another direction at it. Guys, if you'd like to support my work, links are below as always if you have. Thank you very much. And the best way you can support me is like, comment, share, subscribe. Check out my older videos as well. And don't forget to find me over on betterbachelor.locals.com if you'd like to join. And make sure you're still subscribed. My numbers every once in a while will have a weird day where I actually have negative subscribers, like a bunch of you have gotten dumped. So I don't know what's going on with that. Guys, I'll leave it there. This is Better Bachelor. I'm Joker. And remember, you better be okay being okay on your own, because if you still want a long-term relationship, it's not that it's just not necessarily a great idea. It's the fact that it just may not exist anymore.